Good morning. Happy Monday. It is sunny though, so that's a good thing. So today is Monday. I'm getting ready to get up into the studio to do some work, but I wanted to tape my third episode of Knits and Beads podcast. I'm your host, Lorelei Eurto. I am a jewelry designer who knits in her free time. All of her free time. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an obsession, but what are you gonna do? So, basically all of my info I will put in the down bar in the show notes, but my name is Lorelei Eurto. You can find me on Instagram as Lorelei Eurto, Facebook as Lorelei Hill Eurto. Please feel free to friend me there. I have a business page for my jewelry, which is Lorelei Eurto Jewelry on Facebook. I'm on Ravelry as Lorelei Eurto. I'm on Etsy as Lorelei Eurto Jewelry. I have a website, which is LorelaiEurtoJewelry.com or LorelaiEurto.com, and my blog, Lorelei's blog Inside the Studio. The address is www.lorelei1141.blogspot.com. I haven't been blogging as much as I have in the past, which is a pain. I don't know. It seems like more work that I don't want to take away from knitting. So, I just want to say a few things before I get started about podcasting. Podcasting is weird, isn't it? It's kind of like show and tell. And I love that about it. But I'm noticing a few things about Knitters, that podcast. I'm feeling like knitters seem a little bit more guarded than, say, jewelry designers. And I get that. I really do, because there are a lot of people out there who want to bring you down. And I see that with that terrible option on YouTube to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Almost all of the podcasts I've seen always have at least one or more thumbs down. Really? I mean, you're gonna sit and watch it long enough to give it a thumbs down, but not like comment about why it's a thumbs down. I don't know, I don't get that. But so I also have seen a few people talking about the not so lovingly comments left on their podcasts, and that's just such a shame. It's a shame because the people that really admire them, who want to kind of crack the surface and not only just introduce their own podcasts to these well-known people, but they also want to strike up a friendship. And I feel like when you're so guarded and you don't want to let people in, or you only want to let certain people in, that's really heartbreaking for some of us. Anyway, I just wanted to blather about that for a minute. So anyway, I'm recording this with my camera today. I've been doing my podcast a little bit different each time. Last week, or the week before that, I did it on my phone. Wasn't too happy with that quality. I'm using my Nikon camera, and I believe that I only have 10 minutes. So I'm going to break this up into segments. So I better get talking here before my 10 minutes is up for the intro. So I hate editing anyway, but I'm gonna try to edit and splice a couple different videos into this one podcast. I know it can be done because I've seen people do it, but trying to figure it out on the not so user-friendly iMovie might not be the best option, so I don't know. I was even thinking about doing a live streaming of my podcast, but it seems like the most popular podcasts are the ones that have really good editing. So I'm gonna forego the live streaming and try to do the editing. It's just my brain just sometimes can't wrap around that stuff so easily as it does jewelry or knitting or something like that. More creative. So anyway, that's my intro. Let's move on to the knitting. Okay, so I found I'm drinking some tea today, and I just got this really great mug. This is from Tea Forte. It has like nice little birch trees on it. I just loved it. It actually has a little insert for steeping loose leaf tea, which is awesome. It fits down inside, and there's a little lid that fits on it. But today I'm actually drinking a tea bag tea. This is Yogi, and it's my favorite so far. I'm just trying out a few different flavors, and this is lemon ginger, and I love it. It is so tasty. So, okay, let's talk about finished objects. I have one, and I'm wearing it. This might be kind of crazy. It only took me 4 days to do this shawl. I know, it's crazy. But that's how obsessive I am about knitting. So basically I was looking on Ravelry for a project that was like really mindless, like just garter stitches for days and days. And I found this pattern. It's called Among the Shadows by, I'm sure that I don't know how to pronounce this first name, but it's Kelene. So it's Kelene. Kinnersly. Among the Shadows. So basically it's a crescent shaped shawl, and it's pretty long actually. My wingspan is very wide, and it's actually a little bit longer than that. Top down, lots of garter, and then some garter ridges in between some knitting, and then this beautiful like ribbed edging, which I just love, the contrast of the vertical lines against all of the horizontal garter stitch. I used Malabrigo Silky Merino in the Plum Blossom colorway, and I got that at eatsleepknit.com, and it is gorgeous yarn. When this blocked out so nicely, and when I wear it, it doesn't get all wrinkly like sometimes yarn does. I will definitely be using this yarn again. It is really soft, and I just love that little bit of silk in it for a drape. So yeah, it took me 4 days to finish it. So I started it not this past weekend, but last weekend, and I just knitted and knitted and knitted until it was done. I just couldn't wait to wear it. So that's my FO this week. Love it. And as far as works in progress, so I'm still working on my Southern Spirit shawl by Hue Locatelli. I am loving it, but I don't know, I just need little breaks from it for some reason. So I wanted to cast on another project that I could work on. I've been eyeing this one particular project for a long time on Ravelry, and I finally bit the bullet and just decided I'm gonna knit it. It's a vest. I've only done one sweater. It was a short sleeve sweater last summer in Rowan Creative Linen yarn, and it's nice. I was still so new that a lot of it doesn't have any shaping or anything, and the armholes kind of are a little bit snug on me because I'm kind of a bigger person, but so it's not really generally wearable. It was more of a practice, but I wanted to knit something, a garment or a sweater, but I just haven't been able to get to muster up the courage to knit arms. I don't know. I'm sure it's easy. I don't know if I should maybe take a class at my local knit shop or what, but anyway, I decided on this vest, and the vest I just cast on this past Saturday. It's called Pineland by Elizabeth Smith. I love her patterns so much. I have quite a few favorited. She does amazing things. It's a $6 paid pattern on Ravelry, and I'm using Mrs. Crosby's Steamer Trunk in the Midnight Aubergine colorway. This is a worsted weight yarn. I don't know if you can see. The color is just gorgeous. It's a tonal purples with really dark eggplant, and then a little bit of a redder tone kind of mixed in. So it's bottom up, so I've done the bottom hem, and I have to knit about 12 inches of this before I can start armholes and everything. I'm going to try to insert the picture of the pattern here. We'll see if I can figure that out. So anyway, had a little bit of trouble. I did cast this on initially on my Knitters Pride Symphonie interchangeables. They're like a rosewood, I believe. And it calls for a size 8 needle. And I started it out and I felt like I was just knitting it so loose. I don't know. And I was not, my hair is kind of, ew. I was having trouble with this ribbing. This is a herringbone, what do they call it? A herringbone ribbing of some sort. And so I was like, I just don't feel like this is looking right. So I went and grabbed another set of needles. Actually, I grabbed these Chow-Goos, and I was like, I'm gonna do like a little swatch of that ribbing to see if I'm doing it right. And then I found a YouTube video on how to do it. Then I was all set. After that, I was all set. But I am having some trouble sometimes. I'm like moving right along, and then I don't know, there's a few mistakes. What are you gonna do? I'm just not good at ripping back and doing all that, so I'm just moving on. So it's not gonna be perfect, but hopefully it'll just be wearable at this point. So I just want to talk about this yarn. This yarn is interesting. Mrs. Crosby Steamer Trunk. I don't know if this is considered a high twist. I've heard that term. I'm not sure I know what it means. But there is no halo, I guess you could say. You know, sometimes yarns have like a little bit of just a little bit of a fuzz. And this has none. It's like really, the stitch definition is amazing. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully my camera is working. I don't hear it. So yeah, anyway, that's that project. Moving right along, I have another project from Elizabeth Smith favorited that I want to do next, and it's a poncho. It's called Ponchetta, and it's another worsted weight garment, and I think that will be a fun knit too. So I'm going to check my camera and then move on to new acquisitions. Before I move on to new acquisitions, I just wanted to mention another thing about these needles. So instead of going back to my Knitters Pride needles, I decided just to recast on like frog back and cast on these Chow-Goos. Love them. This is my first time knitting with a metal needle. I really just always thought that I was a wood type of person, but these are great. These are really nice. The tips are just really nice and pointy. Love the cord. The red cord is amazing. It doesn't get all like bunched up or sometimes it gets all coiled up and weird. Love it. Really excited about that. So yes, I'm knitting this on a smaller needle. No, I did not swatch. I know, I should have swatched, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna go with it and see what happens. But I really do like how this is turning out on the size 7 needles compared to the 8s. I just felt like the 8s I was just knitting way too loose. And this actually looks really nice. So I'm sorry you couldn't see the stitch definition when I watched that back. I know I couldn't really see it. I don't know why my camera's not focusing. But anyway, moving on. New acquisitions. So since we last chatted, I've got some yarn, of course, because I'm obsessive about buying yarn as much as I am about knitting. Let's see, what did I get? I ordered some stuff from Quince and Company. I got a Lark, and this is their worsted weight. And each skein is 134 yards, and this is the Sabine colorway, and it's just a beautiful like heathery dark charcoal blackish gray color. Got that, and I also got several skeins of the Tern because I saw this on the Yarngasm podcast in the Syrah colorway. And it's just this beautiful pink, kind of rosy, pinky color. This is 221 yards a skein. It's really nice. It's really soft. I've used Quince and Company yarn several times, and I really like it a lot. So I got some of that. The reason why I bought the Lark was because I was going to pair it with this Dream in Color yarn. I bought this from Skein Cocaine on Instagram. These were part of the Dream Club February 2016 colorway, and I just fell in love with this rainbow. I love rainbow yarn so much. So much. This is a worsted weight, classy with cashmere. It is so soft, and anyway, there's about 200 yards per skein, and I was gonna pair it with a solid color, and I thought that worked, but now I'm not really loving it, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet. I might just keep it on my desk and pet it every now and then. So that's that. What else did I get? Oh, this past weekend, Joe and I went on a little antiquing expedition in Little Falls, New York, and they have a nice little store there called Alpaca Gardens, and it's an alpaca store. So they sell like alpaca knitwear, socks, mittens, sweaters, jackets, and they do have a small selection of alpaca yarn, which I was excited to see. So I picked up a skein. This is called the Alpaca Yarn Company in the Seahorse Parade colorway. And I just loved the purples and teals. It's so pretty. And it is so soft. Looks like it's a worsted weight. I'm thinking maybe a hat for this, or some fingerless gloves. We'll see. I have to order, before I can do any more socks or mittens or anything, I need to order some double pointed needles. The ones I did buy are way too short. I don't know what I was thinking. They're like 5 inches long. I need at least 6 inches, I think. So yeah, I'm just waiting to save up some cash to buy some. That's the problem with knitting. It's like every time I want to knit something, I have to buy another tool or another needle or yarn or something. It's like the most expensive hobby on the planet. No one ever tells you that. But I still love it. Still love it. So I got that. And then I did get my Fiberista Club this month. And they sent Wonderland Yarns March Hare. March Hare. Now, I don't know if that's the color for just this particular skein. But this is kind of a burgundy plum color. And it came with a couple of mini skeins in these colors. It's interesting. I think maybe a cowl would be cool. Super soft yarn. It's, oh, this colorway is Mince Pie, actually. So March Hare might be like the group of them. I don't know. Worsted weight 184 yards in this. 100% superwash merino. So got that in the mail. That was exciting. And that's it for yarn. I did place a couple of orders this week for yarn, so my next podcast will feature some yarn from Madeline Tosh. I ordered a couple of skeins directly from her site. Skeins that are kind of one-of-a-kinders, which I really love. I got some DK weight from there. I also ordered a couple skeins from a company in Connecticut called Nice and Knit. And they have a beautiful website, beautiful yarn, like the most gorgeous colors. Come to find out, it's the wife of one of Joe's childhood friends. So that was really cool to find out. I ordered a couple of sport weight skeins, and also a skein of fingering weight. And then I was lucky enough to attend the Voolenvine update on Friday night, and I got one skein after much trying. Like kept checking and clicking on the different skeins, trying to like add one to my cart. It was kind of a high pressure update, I must say, but I did snag a fingering weight in her Love Song colorway, which is beautiful. I can't wait to get it. So that's that for yarn purchases. I just wanted to give a little podcast love this weekend. I always like to look around for new podcasts to watch, and a few of my favorite ones are Hue Loco, which is Nicole, and she's from Colorado, and she's a dyer, she's a sewist, she's a knitter, and I'm excited to soon hopefully order some of her yarn to try out. I love Kristen's podcast, Kristen of Yarngasm, the Yarngasm podcast. She's the dyer behind Voolenvine Yarns. She's just really easy to watch, very easygoing. I love the things that she knits, and she is also a sewist and dyer and knitter. Love her. She's just really fun to watch. I love Eric from Sticks Plus Twine. I just caught up on his latest episode this weekend. Love the things he knits. He has great taste in yarn, so that's kind of where I found out about Lark from Quince, and because he's knitting a really awesome sweater with Lark, and he gave it high reviews, so that's why I bought that. And I really love he's from Toronto, Canada, and I just love his podcast. Well, I noticed that the last video cut off, I was talking about Sticks Plus Twine, and then I had one more to talk about, Love Sock Wool podcast from Syrah Wright. She is really fun to watch as well. So I'm really liking watching all of those great podcasts, primarily knitting, and moving on to jewelry. So this week I had an interesting conversation with a guy. Had an interesting conversation with a guy who wanted to talk to me about a career opportunity. Unfortunately, that career opportunity would require me to move to Milwaukee. So, yeah, I'm not moving to Milwaukee anytime soon, I'm afraid. Although I'm not in love with New York State, if I was going to move out of New York State, I would definitely move somewhere warmer than Milwaukee. And my husband's a teacher, and he's pretty established. He's been teaching for 19 years or some crazy thing like that. So, yeah, yeah, we're not relocating anytime soon. So I had to say no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. But it was interesting. This past weekend, Joe and I went antiquing, and I did find one of my favorite tins. I bought this tin. It's a candy tin, or it's a mint tin. And it's like the most perfect teal color. I love it. And it's great for my tin components. Speaking of which, maybe a couple of days after my last podcast, I decided to put together a tutorial on how to create my riveted tin toggle clasps. And that tutorial is now available on my website for purchase. It's $20. But it's an extensive step-by-step with lots of great video instruction on how to use screw rivets and cut tin discs to create my little toggles, and I'll try to insert a photo here so you can see what they look like. They're fun to make. So there's that. You can find that tutorial on my website, LorelaiEurto.com, under the ebooks and tutorials. Anywho, so that is that. New acquisitions for beads. I will insert a couple of pictures here so you can see, but I got a nice little bunch of beads from my friend Gaia, Canada. She makes ceramic goodness, and she sent me some really great pieces. Love them so much. So I'll be hopefully working with some of these this week. I also got some lampwork glass. I got some beautiful lampwork from Judith Johnston. She's from the UK, I believe. And she sent me some great little earring pairs and lots of pairs actually, which is what I wanted. Some really nice lampwork head pins too, so these will be fun to work with. I'll insert a picture for you to see. And then also I've been kind of paying off a layaway from one of my other favorite lamp workers, Beads of Passion. The artist is Leah Deeb. And I got some head pins and a couple of strands of spool beads, and she sent along some really cool discs. Or actually, I think I ordered these, and she sent some little mini discs too, little tiny green discs. So I'll put a picture there for you to see those as well. I guess that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a really nice week. I just want to say a few thank yous. If you are here for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy that you stopped in to watch my little podcast. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and sitting through another episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm excited to do the next one, and I'm hoping that this podcast, the quality is hopefully going to be a lot better and a little bit fancier with the splicing of the videos. We'll see how that goes, you know. I don't know. I'm hoping it goes well. My fingers are crossed. Anyway, thank you for coming by, and I'll see you on the flip side.